Hello, welcome to Bio 181. This is Unity of Life, which is basically a course that explores biology, starts at the molecular level and then moves up to the cell. So it's really all about the cell. And it's a course for majors. It's of course at Coconino Community College. And so it's targeted for people that are going to be going into health-related fields or if you want to be STEM field. So we get really down into the cellular biology in a lot of detail. So if you're interested in just a general overview class, probably not the right class for you. And there are other introductory courses available. If it is the right course, then welcome. Again, my name's Melinda McKinney. You can address me as Melinda. Virtually, we can meet on Zoom meetings, or you're welcome to stop by my office on the Lone Tree campus, which is room 524, and you can always reach out to me to schedule a time. So we're going to jump right in and do an overview of the course. So here we go. Let me share my screen. Just one. Okay. All right. So this is Canvas. That's our learning management system, our LMS. Our dashboard is where you would find all of your courses. So I teach this web-based course, also teach a hybrid course that meets once a week at night where we just do the labs, and then I teach in-person course. And then I also teach the multicellular biology. So we're going into our web course, and I've structured the Canvas shell to really emphasize clarity and simplicity. So at the expense of really pretty graphics, where maybe you can't find everything, I just want it very straightforward where the framework is clear. So what you'll see, let me view as a student here. So view as a student. All right, so this is what you'll see. And when you come in, we have our introductory module, welcome statement, and the syllabus is located on the side here. So that's something, if you haven't read already, that's an important document. Please go over that. There will be a quiz on it that's due this first week. So I'm just going to open that up. Oh, and the link should be right here. I'll do that. Looks like I haven't actually put it in yet. So let me just go to my Google Doc then and pull that up. Here we go. So there'll be a link to the Google Doc, to the syllabus, and I pull that over here. You can print that out. I won't belabor this. I'm not going to read it to you. It's something you can do at your own leisure. But so we are Bio 18107, and we have no fixed meeting time. So we're going to meet asynchronously, which means that you log in when you have time and complete the course content at your own pace. The required materials, there are two required materials. One is the Science Interactive Lab Kit. Now, up here, I'm going to show you just in the little box, oh, if I can. So here's not really working because of my background. Darn it. All right, so I've got this lab kit. It's a box. You can kind of see it. That is one of the requirements. It has hands-on things like beakers and test tubes for experiments that you'll be doing remotely. And then we also have a textbook. So this is the hard copy of the textbook. You will need this. Unfortunately, for this semester, which is fall 2025, the textbook is currently out of stock at the bookstore. It is a new edition, and so they're waiting on that. In the meantime, there are options for getting an ebook temporarily, and I'll go over that in a little bit. You also need, of course, this is an online course, so reliable connection to the internet or the ability to be in a space where you can access the computer. Our labs will require long hours where you're actually connected to the web. So online, not just uploading a document here or there. So you'll need to submit the documents, but also be answering questions for quizzes and for other online content and watching videos. So make sure you have that reliable access. All right, we are going to require that students for Bio 181 online sections have 2 in-person proctored exams, which means that you will need to go to our campus, either the Lone Tree campus or up in Page, or if that doesn't work for you, you may need to find an alternative proctoring service and schedule an exam there for the midterm and the final exam. So that is non-negotiable. You will need to make sure that you are able to demonstrate mastery of the material in a setting where we can guarantee beyond all reasonable doubt that you are the person that is demonstrating competence, not AI or some off-screen entity. So you will also have for this course a lockdown browser with a webcam for the other exams and assessments, and we do our best to require that integrity of the course through that method. However, we do find that scores are definitely inflated when we don't have the in-person proctoring. So, okay, so academic integrity. Again, to ensure academic integrity, we have the 2 in-person exams. That's going to be during week 10 of the semester and during week 16. So that's our midterm and our final exam. The Respondus Lockdown browser, you'll need to download that and install it on your personal computer or come to campus and use one of ours. And you can install that given the instructions that you'll find when you take your first lockdown browser quiz. All of the material in this course will be assessed. They're written lab reports for academic integrity, so they are subject to review by AI detection software, plagiarism detective software. And if we find that there are obvious violations of this, then you will be receive a 0 for the course, an F for the course, and then you'll be reported to our dean for further adjudication. For online attendance, basically you're participating in the course this first week, you don't receive a no-show. If you have a request for any sort of accommodation from Disability Resources, there's a link in the syllabus. The late work policy, so we'll have a number of different types of assessments. There are no late discussions posts that are accepted. They must be posted by the date. It doesn't make sense to have a conversation where, half of the students are delayed and weeks later responding to posts. So no late discussions, no late exams. You do have a window for online courses for the exams, the online exams, and the proctoring window. Chapter quizzes and laboratory reports, I do allow those to be submitted late for a minus 25% penalty, but that's only for 7 days after the due date. Okay, and then the in-person proctored exams, there's a 25% point deduction if you can't make it for those. Please email me using Canvas. And so you'll just go to your inbox and email me that way. Then it's associated with this course. That is the method that I would like you to contact me, not my general email. As far as the assessments, we've got some introductory quizzes, a syllabus quiz, which also covers content from this video, a plagiarism quiz, and then there are some content activities that are associated with getting you oriented in the Science Interactive Cloud, which is the interface that we'll use for you to do your lab reports. We have a number of lab reports, chapter quiz every week, a discussion every week where we have an initial post on Tuesday and a final reply later in the week. There are 2 exams that are online, multi-chapter exams for 100 points. There's a midterm for 130 points, and then a final exam for 180 points. The schedule. So this is the part of the syllabus that I think is going to be of most interest to you. The last couple of pages, probably want to print those out at least, if nothing else. And that has the dates and it has your the chapter that we're going to be covering, the lab. I have highlighted for myself as well as for you. Yellow indicates lab content that's associated with the SI Cloud that was developed by Science Interactive. I have modified those labs. And then the green are labs that I have developed. And so there are a few examples of both of those. There's an initial discussion post and a final discussion post. The first week, the initial post is delayed until Thursday because students might add late, and then the final replies are due on Friday. Every other week where we have a discussion, the initial post is going to be Tuesday, is going to be the initial due date, and then the final replies are due on Friday. Let me zoom in a little here. I know it's kind of small. Go into a week. And we can see that. So you've got your week over here. We've got chapter 1, Intro to Biology. That's this week. At the end of this week, Sunday, August 31st, your first chapter quiz is due online. So that is going to require Respondus to be installed, which is our lockdown software with the webcam. And that is going to be over the content in chapter 1. We have videos that you can watch that I've recorded for the key concepts. There is a study guide, and then you have your book. We also have the syllabus and plagiarism quiz that's due this Sunday. So this week, your initial discussion is due Thursday, your final discussion is due Friday, and on Sunday, you have 3 quizzes that are due. Next Monday, which I realize is a holiday, so you can do the content ahead of time. So even though it's a holiday, things are still due. So you can even do these assignments that are due on September 1st. You could get those submitted on Wednesday, August 27th, if you want, or earlier. So no penalty for submitting work early. In fact, it's highly encouraged to prevent any sort of technical difficulties or internet outages that are going to unfortunately result in lost points if you do it at the last minute. All right, so you could see our first exam, multi-chapter exam. This is going to be online, week 5. And then we go down here. The week 10 is the in-person exam. So the in-person exam is going to open on October 28th, which is a Tuesday. And then it's going to close on October 30th, which is a Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The schedule is dictated currently by our testing services. That's when they're open. And so I would encourage you to get your exam scheduled early so you can get the times you wanted. We do have limited times available. Hopefully, if you do sign up early and there is a backlog and you can't get in, we can see about trying to extend the hours that are possible. So week 10, in-person exam 2, that's the midterm. And then we have finals week. There's going to be in-person exam from Tuesday, December 9th to Thursday, December 11th at this point. If we do have those periods of time, if we can extend those, which we're trying to do, I will be the first to let you know about that. All right, so that's the syllabus. Close that. Okay. So now we go back to home. That's going to be our home base, right? This is where you want to go. We've got our introductory module, a welcome statement. This is where, since the textbook is not currently available in the bookstore, you can either order it online through the bookstore. And let me just show you how to do that. You can come in, of course. So I'm just going to go here, resources, bookstore. This goes to Follett, which is our bookstore. And then the best way to find your required material is to click on textbooks. And then we would do, should automatically go to Coconino, and then we're going to go to Bio 181, find material for the course. So we're section 1, and we have 2 required materials, like I mentioned earlier. Okay. The first one is the lab kit, and it is a little expensive. It's $276. So it's the best we could do to try to pare that down, but that is the cost associated with it, and it is required for the course. So your financial aid can be used to cover the kit if you purchase it through the bookstore. And then there's the textbook. So this one here, the first one, it says paperback. So that's the one that's the hard copy. And then the second one here, which doesn't have any information, the publisher said they would, or our bookstore is working on saying ebook, but basically if it's not paperbacks, the second one, here's the ISBN, the 21 at the end, that's the ebook. And so you can go ahead and purchase that. They'll give you a voucher with the code, and then you'll go to the website and you can get the ebook that way. So this is the bookstore. Going back to our course, you can also get temporary access for free. What's going on? Why isn't this showing up? Okay, temporary access for free through McGraw-Hill, and oh, it's not letting me do it since I'm on the student preview. So let me just leave that student view. Okay, so the ebook Biology by Raven, you can get a 2-week introductory access for free, and then there's going to be some steps. It's not going to go to this. I already logged in. It's going to be the entire book. Our book that you buy from the bookstore is just the chapters that we wanted from the book to save cost. We just got those that are relevant to 181. The ebook is going to give you the entire book if you go through this link, and it will actually be good for Bio 182, which is multicellular biology, if you take that course. Okay. Again, temporary access for 2 weeks. The publisher did guarantee me that if we don't have our textbooks in stock after 2 weeks, she will extend that. So if you use this access, you will have access to the ebook until you can obtain a physical copy of the book in the bookstore. You can also go to Amazon, which I usually don't say, but since we're out of stock, so Amazon for the full book. This is the 13th edition, which is fine. It's $63 for the whole thing. So this again is all the chapters, so you could get that from Amazon. All right. So, book. Next topic. I know the longer I am here, the more students are not going to finish this. So let me just start to go through this pretty quickly. You can sign up for the proctored exam by going to our testing services website. There are instructions here for having an in-person exam. If you're in Page or near to the Page campus, you can contact someone there. If you can't make it during our hours, I apologize for that. If it absolutely doesn't work with your work schedule and you know that already, you can contact me. I can try to have you come in at another time, work around your schedule. But please try to work through the proctoring services first. So testing services, you'll click on that, and then you'll go to, it's called a makeup exam, even though it's not really a makeup exam, that's the option. So you can click on that, or else scroll down and you'll see sign up for makeup testing. That's what you want as a student. You go in there and then you'll do your fall testing. And you can see that right now we only have 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then the hours, if you're over here, you scroll down Tuesday 9 to 3, Wednesday 12 to 6, and then Thursday 9 to 3 p.m. So um, that's how you do it. The exam, you'll be given more than 60 minutes. So you want to sign up for a 2-hour block, which means you have to sign up for 2 sequential sessions. All right, back here, home. Okay, so general resources. At the top, you're going to be accessing this a lot. These are the required chapter videos. They're also located in each week's module. So required chapter videos, I made these earlier. Here are the video links, maybe updating a few of them. I tried to break them into small chunks so that's not a lot of watching, which reduces the amount of views that I get. So these correspond to key concepts in the chapter. They're YouTube videos. So you click on that. I do encourage you to take notes on these. Your quizzes are closed resource. So here's this video. All right, we're starting with the, whoops, little delay. Play. All right. So you can go through these. Concept from chapter 1 is the classic. It's only 3 minutes and 44 seconds for this video. Some others are a little bit longer than 10 minutes, but I try to keep them all relatively short and sweet. You are still required to read the textbook so that you can master the material. So this is the condensed version and really focusing on those key concepts. Okay, so back to Canvas, back to our home page, which is our modules page. Oh, I also have made Quizlet flashcards. So Quizlet, this is free, but you will see prompts that make it look like you need to purchase it. You don't have to, you can do it for free. The Quizlet flashcards are basically just for the vocabulary that you're responsible for the chapters. You can, of course, make your own. And there are my cards. So you'll go down to the chapter. Go away. Okay. Chapter 1. There we go. Introduction. Not a lot of terms here. Okay. Most of my students have used Quizlet before, so you're probably familiar with this. And you can flip the cards. You can also do this on your smartphone, and you can play games, matching games, those type of things. All right, so back to Quizlet, home. Oh, sorry, I have a little delay here. Okay, there we go. And then I do have some extra optional videos that I will be supplementing. I started this last semester and I started it a little bit later. So these are ones that are other resources that I find valuable for students, especially in an online format. You may want to have a few more that you know are offering you quality content. So there's 3 sources that I really like, and I'm basically just recommending these equally. Students tend to gravitate toward one or another. Biology Crash Course, a lot of students have seen this already, Khan Academy, and the Amoeba Sisters. And if you want to watch all 3 on a given concept, great. This course is covers concepts that are common to all introductory biology courses for science majors. So we're not covering anything out of left field. You can find the material in all 3 of these resources. Okay. All right. So say in 40 videos, Hank Green teaches you biology, right? Based on the AP biology curriculum. And then Khan Academy, really great as well. Then down here, as we go further on, I might say, okay, here's a nice view of an animation that I would suggest you watch. So like cellular,
Working on a research paper about the future.
we don't need to watch the ad, but cellular transport and other options there. If you find a really good video that you think
energy, and I come across a study with findings I want to include in my paper.
Okay, let's not do that. If you have a really great video that you found helpful and you want to share with me, I can share it with other students as well. Okay, so that's all of the general resources. And then we'll just look at 1 week example. We'll start with this first week, and I've only published content from the first week so far. Midway through the first week of the semester, I will publish content for the next week. Okay. So first week, chapter resources, please utilize the study guide. So going in here, science biology resources, there is a link to, these are the slides that I actually use in my lecture class. So you may find those useful. So those are Google slides. Without my comments, maybe not as useful as in person, but they're there for you to review. And then this is really what I want to draw your attention to is the study guide. And this helps you narrow down what you want to focus on. So it has your key vocabulary, not a ton for chapter 1. It has key concepts. So I really worked on crystallizing the most important concepts. And so I have those here as the key concepts. You really want to focus on those in your reading. And then study questions and analysis. So these are questions that you should not be surprised to see on a quiz or on an exam. So make sure that you're able to answer all of these without using other resources. Okay. All right. That's good. One thing I noticed, this one, mm, so I haven't taught online for a couple of years, and I generally just teach in person. So there are a few things that I am noticing I need to change for the online content. One of the things that's new to me as well as you is the Science Interactive Lab Kit. So I used the lab kits before. They were previously by a company that was bought out by Science Interactive that used to be called eScience. And so I did teach a lot online with that format, but this is my first time using the new platform, which I'm really finding improved on a lot of ways from what we used to offer. So I'm excited to get to dig down and work with that. So back to the course, home. Okay, so those were the resources, slides, and the study guide. The discussion, oh, I need to put that discussion in here. So discussion, add discussion. So your first discussion is going to be introduce yourself. And let me just move that up here. Okay. So the discussion right here. So introduce yourself. The first post, the reply to the topic is due the 28th. It's maybe hard for you to see. So you can see here, reply to the topic. The first post is due the 28th, and then the replies are due the 29th. In subsequent weeks, they're going to be spread apart on a Tuesday and a Friday. So there's the discussion. Go in there, put your initial post, and then every week you'll reply to 3 students. Laboratory exercises. So this week, the laboratory exercises, the general instruction for Science Interactive Labs is here. You can look at that. I'll kind of walk you through it right now. Basically, what you're going to do is do these prerequisite assignments, and you can do these even before you get your physical kit. Although you need to get your physical kit immediately because if they run out at the bookstore and then they're back ordered or there's a delay, then we need to have time for you to get that kit by the time you need it. So if you order it today, you go in, you're going to guarantee yourself that you're going to have a kit. They have quite a few on hand. And if they run out and you're there in the first few days and they run out, you'll have time to order that kit and get it in your hands by the time the first assignment is due. So make sure you do that ASAP, okay? You can order the kit by physically going into the Lone Tree campus to our bookstore and picking it up. You can also go to, let's see, let's go back to Follett. So to Follett, you can also order these online. So you could order the kit here and then have it shipped to you. The shipping rate is a flat, it's approximately $8. And even if you buy all of your books, it's about $8. They're going to ship it to you USPS. You should have that within a week. So if you order it online, come to your home address. Um, okay, back. How do you access the science interactive content? So here again, I'm in week 1, right? And we're getting in here, getting started. I'm going to click on this. Now, what I really want to focus on here is when you're looking at this, you're going to see 2 items that have the same name, getting started and getting started. The difference is next to the first one is this link. So it's like a chain link, and that icon indicates that it's going to take you to the Science Interactive Cloud, which is where you complete all of your work for Science Interactive. This underneath it, this getting started, has a little paper next to it with a pencil. This is the assignment in Canvas where your grade is going to go. So it's basically just a placeholder for your grade. Once you complete everything in the cloud, in Science Interactive, you submit it. After the due date, I go in and grade it in the cloud. And then once I grade it, within 15 minutes about, that grade should be synced and brought into Canvas. So it's just your final grade that you're going to get when you bring it into Canvas, and the points associated with the lab are going to be scaled to whatever the points are in Canvas. So say it's worth 50 points if it's in SI Cloud, but it's only 20 points for the course, then it's going to bring in that ratio to the correct percentage into the course for Canvas. Okay. So you can see here the getting started is worth 10 points for the course. We'll just go through this first one. So I'm going to click on getting started. It's going to look different for you as a student because you're going to be asked to enter your information so that you sign up with your student email for the SI Cloud. I've already signed in, and so it's going to take me there. But you will see this, it's going to load getting started in a new window. So every time you go to the cloud, you're going to see this for whatever assignment you're doing, and then it's going to take you, we're leaving Canvas, we're going into another digital arena, and we are now looking at the cloud. So this is the SI Cloud. You see the course name in the upper left-hand corner, Bio 181, Section 1, Fall 25. Let me go to student view. Okay. So again, I've already gone through it. Yours is going to look slightly different because there are some initial videos and things they're going to walk you through, but you will access the content this way. So let's go back over here. There's this hamburger icon, these three lines. Um, that's where you can go to your lessons, to your materials, to your documents, the Science Interactive Virtual Microscope. Okay. And then you should see your grade book. It's not showing me that because I'm not a real student. So, but you should be able to see your grade book over here. For each lesson, so if we go to lessons, you'll have content. Now there are prerequisites. Those are components of the SI lab that are not dependent on your physical kit. So you can complete getting started, lab safety, and using the V-scope, which is the virtual microscope, before you get your physical kit. Okay. These three assignments are due Monday. So that is September 1st, Labor Day. So go ahead and get started on these as soon as you can. As soon as you get your kit, then you can complete the lab kit inventory. So for getting started and for other activities, you're going to see exploration section, exercises associated with the lab, and then an evaluation. You need to complete all of those, acknowledge that the work is yours, that you have not collaborated with other students, that you've physically done it. Sometimes you'll be asked to, in fact, I'm going to have a place that I'm going to modify these labs so that you actually take a picture of your lab setup and you can use an ID or you can have a selfie, but I need to have a way to verify that you have actually completed the lab or have at least the lab content and have set it up. And are not just pulling it off of the internet or saying that you've done it and fabricating data. So I want to see that you actually have it, you've had the lab kit on hand. So as part of these exercises and evaluations, there'll be a place for you to upload images of your hands-on labs. So please make sure that you don't try to game the system and just make up data because you will be required to submit those images. And without those, you won't receive credit for the lab. Um, yeah, and I think they do a good job of explaining it. I'm not going to go over exactly how to do it, but there's areas where you can put data tables in and um, answer multiple choice questions, and that's all part of getting started. You'll go through that on your own, then you go through lab safety, learning about lab safety, and then you're going to use the V-scope. So we do not have an actual microscope that you're purchasing. That would have made the kit a lot more expensive. So we are going to use this virtual microscope. When you click on that, you will go to a virtual microscope site, and then you're going to physically manipulate with your cursor here. Like it'll say, move this stage to the lowest position. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to use the focus button, the course focus, and I'm going to move that down all the way to the bottom. Now over here on the right, this green check mark just appeared. It says move the stage to the lowest position, so that worked. Then it says turn on the illuminator. Basically, we're turning on the light. So I go over here, click that on, turn on the illuminator. So you're not physically able to use a microscope, but at least you're going to be familiar by the time you're done with this with how to use these standard microscopic knobs and stages and objectives to view cellular biology, which is generally microscopic. Okay. All right. I think that is actually everything. Let me go back. Oh, I'll tell you. So for the hands-on labs, you're going to submit everything virtually, well, through this digital platform in SI. Then you're going to wait until the due date, and then I'll grade it within a week of the due date. And then in the cloud, that's where you're going to be able to see your specific feedback. So you're going to be able to go in and see any comments that I've made or which questions you missed points on, if you missed something, why points are off. That's all going to be here. So you've got to actually go on the link through Canvas, get to the cloud, go to the gradebook in the cloud to see that specific information. When the cloud syncs with Canvas, it's just bringing in one number, which is the number of your final score. So that's what you'll see in the Canvas gradebook. And please do me a big favor and double check that the numbers are syncing correctly. So make sure, okay, good. This looks like the same numbers that I'm seeing in the Canvas gradebook. Okay. You want to do that regularly. So if we have any issues, which are rare, but it does occur, that we get that taken care of early. Okay. Go back home. So we talked about, I think, everything for the course. It's structured in modules. You have general resources with the required videos. You've got your Quizlet flashcards that you can choose to do or not do or make your own physical flashcards. You've got extra optional videos. You have your study guide. You have your discussions, laboratory exercise every week. And then every week you have a quiz. Publish that. So the quiz is going to be closed resource, and that means that you're not allowed to use the internet or artificial intelligence to answer the questions or your friend. So the way to set up the lockdown browser with the webcam is to click on this quiz. Once you click on the quiz, it's going to tell you how to install the lockdown browser. Okay, this should work for everyone except if you have an iPad, you may run into issues with this because of the iPad does not allow access to the webcam. And you'll set that up. It's worth 1 point. You get it set up, great. That's all this is. It's a practice to make sure the technology is working. So you could even do that today. Okay, I'm going to make sure my webcam's working, make sure my microphone's working. That's not going to flag me so that I get to the first quiz and, oh, I can't take it because I don't have my webcam working, right? Um, you can buy very inexpensive USB plug-in webcams online if your webcam's not working with your computer, and similarly for microphones, okay? But get that identified quickly. And of course, in a pinch, you can come into any of our campuses, into our computer labs, and we have respondists on those, okay? All right, back, zoom out a little. Okay. All right. That is it, I believe. Okay. So let me just end this. Oh, well. Okay. I don't see the stop the share button, and I'm not going to take any more of your time by trying to find it. So I just want to say again, welcome. I really do want you to succeed in this course. So I hope you hear me say that, and I hope you believe me. Come and talk to me if you're struggling. We do have free tutoring at CCC, and that tutoring is available online. So you can go to, I know I keep saying I'm done. I'm sorry, but it is a good resource. So students, where are we? Tutoring, there it is over here. So under students, tutoring, And then there's in-person tutoring where you can come in and talk to someone and they can walk you through. Maybe the study guide, bring in the questions, say, here's what I have for these. What do you think? Uh, you know, you could look at Chat GPT if you want to and try to see what they say and see if it's consistent. One of the things I just caution you is it does sometimes have errors, and sometimes the answers are not consistent with what is in our textbook. And so really what I'm looking for, like for the characteristics of life, for example, for chapter 1, there are 7 characteristics of life in our textbook that I made up this mnemonic roaches, right? That is not the same. If you Google that, you're going to find a lot of different answers out there on how to define life. It's not universally accepted. So this course is focused on content in our textbook because I can't test you on whatever anyone thinks, like there's 100 different answers. This is uh, a very conservative list, but it is not the same as other textbooks exactly in terms of the verbiage. So please make sure you're focusing on our textbook and the content from our videos if you want to receive full credit. Okay. All right. And it narrows your focus so you're not out there looking at all types of different options. So again, questions, when they're asked, refer to content in our textbook and the videos. Okay. All right. I think that is actually it. So thank you for bearing with me on this. And again, welcome, welcome, welcome. And take care. I'll see if I can figure out how to turn this off, but you can log out at any time. Stop. More. There it is.